Hi, everybody. In Investor Ready, I have Rosalind Steed with me today. And Rosalind is one of the few people that we know who has a patent pending. And so that means she's gone through some of the work to have a patent, and there's a period of time that she has to wait. I'm going to get her to describe to us today for our Investor Ready Discord channel, what the nature of her product is. And then we're going to talk just a little bit about how did she think or know that maybe it was a possible patentable product, what she had to do, and the various elements that she had to go through. Rosalind, thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome, and thank you for
Yeah,
having me. I appreciate it.
yeah. Tell us, the name of your company is Steed's Baby Bottle Bed, and it is a pet product. First of all, tell us what your innovation is.
Okay, so Steed's baby bottle bed is a bed that has multiple bottle like holders around the circumference that can hold the bottles in place. So then that way you don't have to hand feed every animal. And right now, like all the multi feeders that are out, they don't measure what each animal is eating. So the fact that each animal would have its own bottle makes it, because like feeding animals in the early stages is very detrimental. Like you have to make sure they have the correct amount of milk and everything. So, and with that, like where it's round, it has sides on it and everything. So that way I can keep the animals more contained in the
Oh,
bed
yeah.
while I'm trying to feed them or whoever's trying to feed them. And the product itself is just something to help people because like I've had to bottle feed animals. I've interviewed lots of people who have bottle fed animals and they're all like, it's so tiring. I wish I had extra hands to help me, and like I said, the multi feeder is out there right now. They don't measure what each animal is eating. They move around when the animals are trying to drink from them. But with the bed, the bottles are velcroed in place. The animals are not strong enough to move the bottles. Like you have to like really rip them out yourself, right?
So this is a product that's intended for the pet market. And so well, not the pets themselves, I guess, but the people who are feeding them. So who are the kinds of target markets that would be buying something like this? Like as a business, who would your key target markets be?
My target market would be animal breeders, veterinarian clinics that take in animals that can't feed their animals, shelters as well, because they need a lot of volunteers to come in and hand bottle feed each animal. So that would help them as well. Hobby farmers that raise rabbits, minks, different animals like that. And pet owners, because like a lot of pet owners have accidental pregnancies with their cats. A lot of people will get a cat just because they have mice, right? And the cat will run out and get pregnant, and there's accidental pregnancies. And then there's single parents that will just breed an animal just to make some extra money for the family, right? So like it caters to pet owners as well. Like so I do have quite a few people that I
Uh-huh.
target in the market for sure.
Yeah, so I can see there's a lot of different types of organizations. What in the very beginning, like at what point did you think, I wonder if this is patentable, or I wonder if I should patent this, or I wonder if anybody else is doing it? Like, where did you kind of start that process of thinking about a patent?
Well, how I kind of first started, but like again, I had to bottle feed. So, and then my son, like he had a couple of friends that were breeding dogs and they were bottle feeding their dogs. And I'm like, there has to be something out there now that you could use. So I just started Googling and I'm looking to see if there's anything out there like what I'm thinking. Cause I'm thinking of this bed that holds bottles, right? That's what I was
Right.
thinking of. And I didn't see anything. So I'm like, because I'm a person that just keeps asking questions. So I'm like, what would you do? Like, if you had an idea, where would you go? So I just started Googling, like, if you had an invention idea, what would you do? Right. So then there was all these companies that come up that help you, like, with your ideas and stuff like that. So I went with the one with the most reviews, which was in the US. So once I reached out to them, they sent me like a non disclosure, just saying they wouldn't share my idea and everything. So I reached out to them. They called me back and they said they'd have to discuss with their team if they even thought it was a good idea. So then once they did that, he called me the next day and was like, "This is a great idea. We want to help you with this." So then they sent out like an information package, just kind of like on the animal industry, like how much you could make as like a micro entity, just different things like that. It's a big report. It's about 30 pages.
Mhm.
And then they said if I wanted to go forward, I'd have to pay so much for the worldwide patent search. So once they did that, it took maybe 8 weeks for them to get back to me. And then once they got back to me, they were like, "You're golden. You can get two different patents. You can get a utility or a design patent." And they were like, "You really only need the utility because that kind of covers everything." Like a design patent, as they would put it, is like if I had a toaster and I stamped Hello Kitty on it, I could get a design patent for that because it's just a different design of the toaster, right? But the utility patent is like a functional patent. I had to get an engineer like to draw up the drawings for it and everything. So with this company, we did that, and then they were like, "Okay, we have this lawyer. His name was Kramer. His law office was like Kramer Design." So I just wanted to make sure he was a legit lawyer because I'm working with people in the U.S. because that's where I
Right.
first
Yeah.
started this, right?
Uh-huh.
So I just Googling this lawyer. I found him on LinkedIn. He had, lots of clients and followers and stuff. So I was like, okay. So then I felt like kind of okay because I'm like, because these people wanted $17,000 US for the utility patent, the design patent. They made me a 3D prototype. They did up like a website for me, just showcasing the idea and everything like that. They let me like they didn't make me pay right up front. They made me pay 1/3 of the amount up front, and then they let me pay it over 11 months. So I had called the lawyer after he had done the first patent, the design one. He did that one first, and then I called him and asked like if I wanted to patent this in other countries, like how should I do that? How do I do that? And he said he couldn't help me with that because he only deals with the US. And he said not many people even ask that question. And he said if you want to do it in other countries, you have to do it within 1 year of your filing date. So then that way it'll be backdated right to the date that you filed, whatever country you're in. So I didn't really have the money to do it in a bunch of countries, but I did do it in Canada as well, just to because I'm from Canada, so I figured North America, at least get the North American market. So basically, yeah, and then so they tried to help me sell it and stuff like that, but I realized that if you want a product to sell or if you want to sell your idea to somebody, you have to sell your product. You have to be selling your product, right? Like you can tell somebody about the idea and yeah, it's a good idea, but you have to kind of be selling your product, or you can't just go and just be like, "Oh, here's a video. I'm not really doing anything with it. This is my idea. Take it or leave it." But I went and found a manufacturer so that way I could get so that way you have a visual of what the actual product is and not just a 3D model prototype video, right?
Oh, so in dealing with this company, what was their purpose in creating a website for you?
Well, so their purpose in creating the website for me was for them to showcase the idea. So what they try to do as a company is if they can sell your idea to other companies, they charge a 3% finder's fee. So they try to sell it. They'll reach out to 30 companies and like most people didn't even like give any feedback, but in saying that, the 3D model that they made me in the video that there is up of it that like when you look at the video, it shows the idea of it, but it like if you actually look at the video, you're going to say that's not going to work. Because in the video, the Velcro's at the top of it, and there's no Velcro on the bottles or anything, so you wouldn't know that that's how it stays, right?
Okay, yeah,
So,
yeah.
right? So,
Wasn't obvious, yeah.
yeah,
So how
exactly.
long did all that take?
Okay, so we started that. I called the very first call, I called them in January. And then it took a couple of weeks for the worldwide patent search. And then once they told me that we were good, we were gonna go file the patents. It took probably about 5 months after that
Yeah.
for them to be both of the patents to
And
file.
do you have a copy of that application? Like, is it, I don't know, 3 pages long or 13 or
Um,
30 or?
no, the application itself, like the design application is only maybe 2 pages, but the
Mhm,
utility application is about 15 pages because it has like all the drawings in it,
mhm,
all the engineer, like all the stuff that they have to say about it and how everything works and everything. So there's more detail in the utility filing patent
mhm.
than the design filing.
So now if the one that's been filed is not the same as the one that you were, kind of improving on, is it still patented?
It is because like so in the engineer's drawings, like it shows where the Velcro is supposed to be. It's just not like that in the 3D video.
Okay.
But it
Yeah.
shows it in the engineer and the
Mhm.
design, like
Yeah.
it shows that in their drawings. It shows it
Uh-huh.
in when I did the Canadian one, like she was asking me, the same thing, like where does the Velcro go? So I just gave her all the
Yeah.
details and everything. And
So I know you have a real working model. Have you kind of taken that out to any veterinarians or hobby farmers or people with a pile of kittens or anything,
well,
to
I
see
I
how
had
well it works?
well, I have been working with some kittens for the last couple of weeks because I just received it a couple of weeks ago, the working prototype. So I've been working with some kittens, and those kittens actually, like, their mother can feed them, right? So I'm just training them with the bottle, you know what I mean? And now they're getting used to it. So I go over there almost every day, and I'm just feeding them a little bit. So they're getting extra milk. They're getting a little bit extra, but like they're they're training, and they're getting used to it. They're coming over. They're sucking on the bottles. So it's working. I knew it would work, but it would have worked faster if the mother wasn't feeding them. But
Uh,
where they do have the extra source of milk, it's taking a little bit. But if that was their only source of milk, they'd be trained a lot quicker, right?
oh, and do you have to do anything now to protect your patent? Do you know?
Not as of right now. Like I don't have to do anything. I'm just waiting for them to do the examination in the US, and then the
Yeah.
Canadian people like the lawyer in Canada told me once they do that there, just let them know the date and then they'll set up a date to do ours here.
Okay, we're losing some of our internet here.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
oh,
losing some of our internet here. It's a bit of a that's all right. It's a bit of a stormy day. That's all right.
for sure.
And so did you have to write any of it,
I
the
only
patent
had
yourself?
I didn't have to write any of the patent myself. I just had to draw my idea. I just had to draw my idea initially, and then I gave it to them. And then later, like once they were working on it, then I just made my own prototype. I just used like a pool noodle and put some stuff together,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
to, the concept, just to see if it would work, right?
sure.
And it did. And then I was like, I'm gonna keep going because there is a need for this for sure. Like people, when you have puppies, or especially puppies, just having puppies alone after a few weeks is just overwhelming in itself. Whether you have to bottle feed them or not, you know what I mean? And you're just like, oh, I'm over it. But if you have to bottle feed them, you got to get up in the middle of the night. You got to do it every couple of hours. Like, it's so tiring. And all you want is somebody to help you or help, right? So I think that it's going to do very well myself.
Oh, that sounds like a good element of your marketing campaign, right? Yeah,
No, for
puppies
sure.
sound cute until you have to feed them every 2 hours, right?
Right. Exactly.
What it is, baby bottle bag can help you with that.
Yeah, we can take the pressure off a little bit so you're not sitting there one by one, right? Because
So do you
basically, if you had a lot of puppies and you had to feed them one by one, basically by the time you're done that feeding, because that would take a couple of hours, right? You're getting ready to do it again.
uh-huh. Yeah. So do you have a website or anything where people can reach you, Rosalind, yet? Or
Well, there's the babybottlebed.com. That's the website
okay.
the company had made for me. I created my own website. I just want a web designer just to fix it up a little bit before I post it online, but it's coming. It should be here soon. But I secured the domain name, so it's steedsbabybottlebed.com and .ca. That'll be the domain names for them, but it will definitely be up soon.
Okay, well, Rosalind is an investor ready candidate. And so you can always reach her through here and through our Discord channel, where you'll be able to view where you'll be viewing this this video. Rosalind, thanks a lot. Sorry, Rosalind, thanks a lot, because yeah, I think everybody's thought about the patent thing. And I think you took a little mystique out of it by saying, like, hey, I went to the best looking place around because they had the most reviews. And
Exactly.
that's I made it easy on myself. And so we'll be looking for it. I have to say, just about 5 days ago, I saw an episode of Hope Wildlife.
Everybody keeps telling me to reach out to them. I've heard that at least 5 times in the last 2 weeks. And I'm
Well,
like, just give me a minute here, because I'm driving back and forth with doing these kittens every minute. But they're next.
yeah,
I'm just gonna bring one over
she
there
had
and see if they could use it.
Yeah, she had, well, not she, but one of her, one of her staff there were feeding 17 fawns.
That's crazy.
I know. And that's what they were talking about. They were just saying, like, what an enormous task this
It is.
is. These adorable little fawns, but there was 17 of them. And basically, the time you get finished, you can
Yeah,
start all over
exactly.
again.
Exactly. And I find too, like when an animal has big litters, like some animal litters will have like 14 or 15 pups. Like an animal doesn't even have that many like teats
Yeah,
or
yeah,
so
teens,
that could be something just to help with the overload of puppies as well, or kittens or whatever animal, right? So
Hey, thanks for that. Thanks for doing this today.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
no problem. I just want to say too that I really appreciate being in your course. It's excellent. I needed to learn how to talk to investors, and this is the course to do it for sure. Your course is excellent.
Oh, great. Thanks, Rosalind.
I
And
appreciate it.
you know where you can find Rosalind. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
All right, bye bye. Have a great day.